There is a great horror beneath the manor. A
Yep.
crawling chaos that must be destroyed.
Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and I'm back to Darkest Dungeon. We have a little bit of gold to spend. Let's see what we can spend it on. Let's see, Blosbeville's armor and weapons can be upgraded. Let's see about her skills. Yep, Judgment, Dazzling Light, Divine Grace, and Divine Comfort. And let's see about anybody else who might benefit from an upgrade or two. Okay, Pennant could use some upgrading. So collect bounty, come hither. So you're marked for death, upgrading it increases the protection debuff. However, that's really all the gold I can reasonably spend.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
However, that's really all the gold I can afford to spend. So, let's get on to another mission. Now, I'm definitely keeping Blosbeville because I actually want her to level up to be Resolve level 3, because I want to train her up so that we have another high-level Vestal. And I'm definitely not going into the Darkest Dungeon without a Vestal, and so I'm going to give Riviere a chance to recover. Now, we can't take on any novice-level missions because... or apprentice-level missions, because we only have one hero whose Resolve level is 2 or lower. So, it's going to be a veteran mission of some kind. Let's see what. So the Bright Tambourine could be useful, but I think we already have one. Yep. A Bright Tambourine and 2 Dark Tambourines. Not a big fan of the Camouflage Cloak. The extra dodge is somewhat nice, though. Not terribly impressed with the Life Crystal either. What about this mission? Actually, a Book of Relaxation could be helpful. How close are you to leveling up? You are literally 1 Resolve experience away. I'm gonna go with the short mission because I don't want to send a hero who is technically not high enough level to go on a mission on a long mission. Oh, we have a 3rd Vestal, who I somehow completely failed to notice. I am a professional. See, it's that kind of skill that is the reason why you guys are all watching me do this. I still want to get Blosbeville back up to Resolve level 3 so that everyone can take on veteran level missions. So, unequip all trinkets, sort by character class restriction, and for you, get the wounding helmet, and yeah, let's give you the unmovable helmet. How exactly he's wearing 2 helmets, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I have a better idea. And that better idea is the Eldritch Slayer's Ring, because most of the enemies in the Cove are Eldritch. For you, the Blighting Satchel and the Sickening Satchel. For you, the standard Tome of Holy Healing and Sacred Scroll. And for you, we have Wolf's Tassel, and because somebody should have it, I'll give you the Ancestor's Portrait. Also, I really need to lock in the Deadly quirk when we have the money to do that. However, first, let's complete 100% of room battles. Alright, little anti-venom, or little bandages, I'm not bothering with anti-venom. A couple of shovels. As always, bring torches, don't need that many. A little bit of food, but 8 food should do it. A couple of keys, and that should be it. I sometimes forget how cheap it is to outfit a short, this is a veteran mission. For some reason in my head we were doing an apprentice level mission.
These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out.
Well, apprentice or veteran, either way, this one shouldn't be that bad. Even with a slightly underleveled Vestal. Whoa. The next thing we need to do is probably get some cash, which means I'm going to need to send a mission. Use perform. That's the verb I'm looking for is perform, or possibly launch a mission using an antiquarian. Ah, heirlooms we don't need. This one probably also contains heirlooms we don't need. Yep, called it. You heard it here first.
Could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
This might actually be... I forgot to check which abilities you had equipped. Let's go poison darts. This might actually be the most mark-oriented team that I have ever had. Sniper's mark. And Pennant, just finish the job. Close enough.
Slowly. Gently. This is how a life is taken.
I'll be honest, I did not expect the blight to be necessary, but apparently it was. May as well poison darts this one. And I have an idea. So mark the Oracle for death. We're gonna need to deal with one seaward slash, which that did more than I thought it would. However, with Vol's Tassel, it survives with one hit point. Lovely. Okay, that's one that's gone.
Give them no quarter.
And one final stress wave to remember you by. Well, there we go.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Right, and let me
This
adjust
expedition
your
at least
skills a
promises
little
success.
bit. Am I not allowed to do that? Okay. There we go. Those are the abilities that you should have. Those are the abilities every grave robber everywhere should always have. Alright, our goal is to finish 100% of the room battles, and this far into the mission, we have yet to have a room battle. There's gonna turn out to be like just one, and as soon as I say it, I find out that there are at least two. I really should know better at this point. But then again, on this channel, failing to learn from my mistakes is really just part of the charm. I don't need the crest, so I want the protection stone. I'm not sure that I'll use it, but I can at least sell it later in exchange for something I will use. And violence and treasure. Okay, the thrall is going to be a bit of a problem. Thralls are always a problem. The bulwark is also a problem. Start with this. Second, let's see if we can stun him to guarantee he doesn't use the revenge. I've come to understand that a thrall will never use the revenge on the first action it gets after you attack it. Collect bounty can only hit positions 1 and 2. You know, this can't benefit from the mark, but it did enough damage. There. That's one way to deal with one of those. Okay, this raises an interesting question. After the stress wave, of course. So, okay, I can't... What happens if I use Sniper Mark on the wide mouth? It marks the Bulwark, who I couldn't normally have hit. Okay, I can't use Thrown Dagger on him. But I can use... Except I can... because he's guarding the other guy. I'm going to use Poison Dagger first to get as much extra damage as I can stacked up against this thing. You just do some quick healing. And now Pennant has to deal with the Seaward Slash. Let's see how much this does. 4. Wonderful. Ooh. However, I wonder if it does. I assume it will actually deal extra damage because of both the mark and the blight. And it still did damage totaling 4 hit points. Yeah, that protection bonus is a bit of a challenge. Oh, that is not good. And he's bleeding, too. Well, now he's not. Well, okay, now he's managed to make it up to 6. However, because he's guarding, I can hit him with sniper shots. And do 3. It just keeps getting worse. Really glad I blighted him. That's going to do more damage than anything else we can pull off. In that case, let's just poison dart him again. Blight is honestly our best chance, and he has 0% blight resistance. Oh. Just what I needed. Just exactly what I needed in that situation. Yeah, go ahead. Heal up the massive tank. Alright, I have a plan. It isn't a good plan, but I have a plan. Instead of collecting bounty, mark for death on the other one. And you just put Penance organs back inside his body. He needs those. More Octocestus, more bleeding, more bandages, and more vengeance. There we go. Blighted for 6. And there we go. That'll do him. Just heal everyone. Critical on exactly the person who really needed critical healing. And because of the mark set up by the other guy last round, you cannot do enough damage to kill it, despite having a whole bunch of bonuses to your damage to marked enemies. Aren't low-level heroes fun? Okay, Foliot, show them how this is done.
As the
Like that. It is done like that.
Faint hope blossoms. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Heirloom chest, not worth bothering with because heirlooms are not... We don't need to weave any more heirs, so we don't need the heirlooms. Okay. So at least one more room battle with a curio. I don't know actually how many room battles there will be, but probably not very many. And, well, we're going to at least use up all of our medicinal herbs. And from using our medicinal herbs, we receive medicinal herbs. Well, there's a chance of another fish carcass, so... Good thing I brought 8 food. And it's time for some violence. Okay. Okay. This is bad. 2 shamans and a crusher. The shamans can both use Call of the Deep and Sea Breeze, so they can keep this guy powered up. We need this guy to die quick, and he resisted the debuff too. See about stunning him. Okay, that worked. Which is good, because Arterial Pinch is really bad right now. Okay, damage 6 to 10, but a 33% chance of critical. I set up Blight because 1, with that high of protection, we need anything we can get. And 2, because that increases the damage of Thrown Dagger. The good news is, I have 3 different heroes that can exploit marks, and you're marked. There's going to be a lot of damage this round, 50% protection or no. Of course, there's also going to be a lot of stress this round, because Stress Wave exists.
The ground quakes.
So the one with no increase to critical chance is the one who gets a critical. Correction, they both get criticals. And I may as well just heal everybody back to full.
Sedated.
And that's the end of him. He was less trouble than I was expecting him to be. And we have the fish counterpart to Sacrificial Stab, Ceremonial Cut. Just go kick to the face. It's gonna take a few of those to finish the job. Alright, and you mark the target. Because now you can finish it. That's the kind of damage I'm expecting when you having Wolf's Tassel. And if we use Dazzling Light correctly, we should guarantee no more damage this fight.
A blazing star is born.
And there we go.
Success so clearly in view.
And that is the end of
Or
this.
is it merely a trick of the light?
Alright, back to the hamlet.
The pungent odor abates. The things are driven back for a time.
Yeah, unfortunately they keep coming back. Though I suppose considering the fact that they're an endless supply of money, experience, and personal amusement, maybe it isn't such a bad thing that they keep coming back. Okay, and officially, everyone is now high enough level to take on veteran missions. And... and Pennant is unerring, that's completely useless. And Blasbeville is a kleptomaniac. Yeah, unfortunately they're all going to need some treatment.
Something long absent in the sunken faces of passers-by. A glimmer of hope.
First, I realize they're below 50%, but I'm not going to risk that. I'm still going to get them de-stressed before I send them on another mission. Alright. Let's see what the nomads have. That is so good. So is that. The Berserk Mask and the Sacrificial Cauldron. The Sacrificial Cauldron for an occultist. Plus 20% damage, but at the cost of plus 10% stress. Actually, that's not as good as I'm thinking it is, because the occultist is not really a damage dealer. I mean, Abyssal Artillery, Sacrificial Stab, and really those are the main ones, can do some pretty okay damage, but honestly, that's not as good as I was thinking at first. The Sun Ring is pretty okay, but I mainly just want the Berserk Mask. Yeah, it makes the leper a little fragile, but combine that with a good boost to accuracy, and the 8% extra critical chance can make a big difference. I'm buying that. Unfortunately, it's all I can really afford. And in fact, I have to sell some stuff in order to keep us funded. So I'm selling one of the Dark Tambourines, because we don't need two. I don't think I'll ever use the debuff charm. Honestly, the resist trinkets aren't really that good by the standards of the endgame. So I'm going to sell those. And that leaves us with enough money for another mission, and I don't even need a fresh recording file yet, considering how short that last one was. Why are we still getting novice level missions recommended? Well, who knows. Anyway, let's see. So a long mission that gets us a blasphemous vial. A short mission that gets us a dark bracer. Which isn't really very good. And a long mission that gets us fortifying garlic. And a medium mission that gets us an Eldritch Slayer's ring. You know, bit of a risk, but I'm going to take on the long mission. The people who are definitely coming with me are Druel, because I want to train up the Vestal I just realized that we have. And Fairfax, because we need money. So, who else to bring? Let's see, we're going to be fighting mostly the Eldritch. And enemies that resist bleeding but are susceptible to blight. Dureri and Altard. Not the strongest team in the world, but I think it should work. Unequip all trinkets. Sort by character class restriction. And let's equip people. You're a Cove Adventurer, that's helpful. Got Mace Bash for Judgment and Hand of Light for Divine Comfort. And you should know by now what she's equipping. Now, for the Antiquarian, I'm going to go with the Carapace Idol and the Candle of Life. Now, for you, Restraining Padlock and Protective Padlock. I'm planning on using his Blight skills reasonably extensively, but I strongly suspect that I'll need him to take Beast form. And so I want him to be well equipped to do so. And for you, the Berserk Mask and the Fortunate Armlet. Yeah, he's going to be not exactly in the best way when it comes to healing, but 8% critical plus 3, so 11% increased critical chance and increased speed and accuracy. I think that's a good combination for a leper. Chop, Hew, place Revenge with Purge, and I'm still keeping Solemnity because he may need it. And alright, I think we're ready. Now, provisioning a long mission can be a bit expensive. No point really in anti-venom. A couple of medicinal herbs. Still need a couple of keys. I will not forget the torches. 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 See, even just saying it, I'm apparently allergic to torches. Even talking about them too much makes me cough. Alright. And commence the Hamlet fundraising operation. It's fundamentally what this is. Though the extra experience could be
These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out.
And we immediately have a fish carcass, and before we do that, I'm going to have the Antiquarian be the one to interact with it, because we're making some antiques. We do! Only minor ones so far, but our first hallway, and we already have a use for the medicinal herbs. Honestly, it makes me wonder if I should have brought more of them. I did forget something, and the something... I felt like I was forgetting something, and the something that I forgot was shovels. Fortunately, we got away with it, but, well, so far, I don't know how long that will continue. Alright, we surprised the enemy. Let's see if we can take advantage of that. Okay, Manacle the Enchantress. Nervous Stab the Enchantress. It's unlikely that you can one-shot both. Let's see, 12 to 23. What does Hew do? 6 to 12. So you can't one-shot either of them with Chop. I'm gonna gamble on killing the Gladiator. That's close enough, because now I can do this.
Press this advantage.
Okay, so we only have to deal with the Stinger and the Cultist. In fact, we only really have to deal with the Stinger. So the Cultist's stun will wear off. Okay, never mind. I forgot how fast the Cultist was. Actually, it's more how slow this whole team is. I mean, the guy literally covered in chains is our fastest team member. See if we can stun that thing to deny it a chance to get a turn. And Nervous Stab. There we go.
Continue the onslaught.
That's the thing. I knew her health was low enough that I'd be able to kill her this turn. And now, 77% chance to end the fight.
Destroyed.
Fight ended with extreme prejudice. Okay, obviously
nightmarish
drop
creatures
the
can be
crests.
felled. They can be beaten.
And Citrine is the least valuable, so let's drop the Citrine for the rare antique. And our first room battle. The Enchantress all the way in the back is going to be a bit of a problem. Okay. Fundamentally, the strategy is going to be the same. Stun who we can, kill who we can. You have a chance of one-shotting this.
Obliterated.
And you did. And let's just go with Nervous Stab, because that won't kill him, but it will bring him closer to death. And, because of the critical, meaning that the grouper didn't leave a corpse, I can stun you. I like it when things go my way. And the game heard me talking about how well things were going and decided it had to stop and fix that. Alright. Eldritch Push. Okay, good thing that missed. That could have been a problem. Alright, 4 to 7. Okay, Festering Vapors only blight. It blights for 3. We'll do 1 to 2. It doesn't really matter. She can't one-shot this thing without a critical. And her chance to get a critical is essentially nil. Alright, manacles this one. That Enchantress has really been avoiding the stuns. Alright. However, there I was thinking things would work exactly the way I wanted, and well, they didn't. And they still didn't. Fortunately, the Enchantress has just been having the worst luck with movement abilities.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Okay, okay. Let's see if the third time is in fact a charm. Nope, still no. Still not stunned. Well, how about this one? Yeah, I just need to give up on trying to stun that Enchantress. She is just not having any of that. Who would have thought that the Enchantress would be the most durable member of this team?
Is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay, no reason to hold on to any of the other stuff. Unfortunately, without scouting, we're going to have to go both ways. On the other hand, with scouting, we probably still would have had to go both ways, since it's likely there would have been a room battle in at least one of these 3 rooms. Yep, that confirms it. And this is the kind of team I was afraid of, because this team doesn't handle this kind of a grouping very well. And Dazzling Light can't reach... Oh, right, because the Madman is technically in position 4. Well, do as much stunning as we can. So we stun the Crusher.
Only the strength to follow it.
We stun the Crusher on the first try, despite him having a 70% stun resistance, and yet with 3 attempts, we couldn't overcome the Enchantress's 45% stun resistance. And obviously, Chop is really the only option in this situation. Critical would be real nice. But you can't always get what you want. Try sometimes, just might find you get what you need, but... Ah, Doomsay. Wonderful. Accusation is worse, at least. Yeah, this, like I said, this team composition is kind of hard. This grouping of enemies is kind of hard for this team composition to deal with. Okay. He's blighted for 4. Lovely, so we have Accusation in addition to Doomsay.
The horror.
Festering Vapors will get it done. Nervous Stab can't reach.
A devastating blow.
Do my eyes deceive me? The Antiquarian is actually doing something necessary. I don't think that Beast Bile inflicts blight damage. I think it just inflicts gross damage.
A decisive pummeling.
And that is exactly what we needed. Now, stun resistance of 120, stun chance of 130. As cool as it would be to stun this thing again, I'm going for the crazy guy and missing. Missing is really part of my strategy. Yeah, just pile on the leper. It's not like he has enough problems. I mean,
Festering fear consumes the mind.
nobody ever just runs up to the leper and insults him and tells him how terrible he is. That never happens to him. Right. May as well just go with some healing. Let me see. You're blighted for 4. Let's go with nervous stab.
Death
Perfect.
inches.
I was hoping that would happen.
As the
Now you get to
fiend
pay him
falls,
back for that insult.
faint hope blossoms.
And we found a shovel. The question is what to drop to get it. Or I don't need to drop anything because somehow we have 2 different stacks of bandages. Unfortunately, Altard is in a bit of a bad way. And I'm going to risk opening this without the shovel. And I got away with it. Because we only have 1, and we really are going to need that for obstacles. Alright.
The light, the promise of safety.
Nervous stab. Beast's Bile. That's the only thing that can hit the, destruction is all I can give this world. And you just go with Solemnity.
The wounds of war can be healed.
Because I need to get his stress level down a little bit. I may as well go with Dazzling Light, see if we can get a stun going. Sea Breeze, that's the... Thank you, that is the least destructive thing you could have done. Which means we need to deal with 1 Seaward Slash, and it isn't a critical, which is even better. Or not. Okay, okay, good. At least you didn't use Stress Wave on the leper. Festering Vapors on this one. I have a plan. Because now, Beast's Bile, and that should finish both of them. Again, Solemnity. Yeah, the extra stress of the Berserk Mask is... Wait, it doesn't give him extra... Oh, it's the Fortunate Armlet that gives him extra stress. The Berserk Mask just gives him reduced Virtue chance. This time go for this one. Unfortunately, without the Leper as our main damage dealer, because I'm probably just going to have him use Solemnity every turn, we're going to have a little trouble with
The
this.
slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
On the other hand, that just gives us more turns to keep having him heal himself. Go ahead and heal the Abomination. Okay. Done with the Festering Vapors. It actually does pretty good damage in total. It's a little slow. Ooh, critical Solemnity. It's a little slow, but there we go. Didn't even take that long.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Yeah, I've actually noticed the resistance and this is why I held on to the shovel.
Another misfortune.
There's been some resistance. Okay, and we can live without the anti-venom. You could also live without the cultist. Unfortunately, there isn't a no cultist option. Bit of a gamble. Actually, quite a lot of a gamble, because I wonder what the actual odds are of him one-shotting a cultist, between factoring in that he only has an 89% chance to hit, and that he has to get a relatively high damage roll to one-shot it. On the other hand, there's also a chance of getting a critical. Like, I seriously wonder what the actual odds are of him one-shotting a cultist gladiator. I wonder what the odds are. I may have been redundant, and I also may have repeated myself.
A singular strike.
A singular stun. Lights for 3, which means to finish him it needs to do So, actually, fortifying vapors is the most useful thing she can do right now.
Surgical precision.
Alright. All I need is for the leper to go after the abomination. Everything else will take care of itself. Just keep it up with fortifying vapors. Really wish that could have happened before the fortifying vapors. Really wish that could have happened before the fortifying vapors. Okay, Beast's Bile. And that's the end of the wide mouth. Don't worry, I got a bandage for you. Which means I don't even need... I was going to use Hew, but I can just use Chop. This guy will die on his next turn.
Eradicated.
Alright. A little bit of healing for everybody.
Is a rarity in the fevered
In hindsight, that was
pitch of
probably the wrong move. And now we just get to wait for them to keel over, and you can lower your stress again. It's always fun when I finish a battle with less stress and more health than we had when we started. You can even use Absolution to get yourself all the way up to full.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
And the Abomination's stress level is literally 0. I guess his attitude is any mission where he doesn't have to break out his game face is just not a challenge. Not a lot for you to do. Actually, no, there is a lot for you to do. Because now he's essentially lost 4 hit points, plus another 6, depending on how things go. And there's importance to that. And you, standard, just keep up with the Beast's Bile. I like Beast's Bile a lot. That's just... that ability's done me a lot of good over the course of this game. But this increases the odds that Chop will finish the job or reduce him to 3 or fewer hit points. In fact, since I only need to do 13 damage to guarantee a kill of this wide mouth, the odds of him dying from that are actually really high. Just keep the leper healed. He has a trinket that reduces his healing received, so that could be an issue. They have not had much luck with spearfishing this fight. May as well go Festering Vapors on this one. You're the only one that can reach it, so just start wearing it down. One more Beast's Bile. Yeah, Judgment. Well, that was unhelpful. Wait a second. There's no point in even attacking these two anymore. Because they're going to act through the end of the round, and then next round they die. So, okay, so again, just go with Solemnity. And they'll just disappear next round, and in the meantime, you can't reach any of them with manacles. Just use Absolution for the sake of doing something. And Festering Vapors on the only one that essentially still has hit points left. That's 1. That's 2. He actually gets to do something one last time. He's not blighted for enough to be instantly killed. So, rather than... Actually, I'm going to take a bit of a risk. I'm going to use Solemnity, and I'm going to gamble that in the 2 actions that she will get in total, this action and her action next turn, Druel can restore more hit points than it can take away.
In the fevered pitch of battle.
Because I have a chance to heal everyone to full. It gets to attack once. We've been getting a lot of critical healing today. So it gets to attack once and do 1 Seaward Slash to do 8. And now we get the rest of our turn, which is just the Vestal getting an action. The corpse goes away. Divine Comfort. Yeah, just let the Blight take care of it. Now we managed to end this fight with more health. I actually should have just finished it off with manacles at this point. In fact, you know what, Fairfax? You want to do the honors?
Well struck.
Does she ever? That was a profitable fight.
Victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Open the chest. Contents are mine, and they include more antiques and more torches. Okay, that was quite a success. I'm just wondering how the game is going to turn things, what the game is going to spring on me to ruin everything. I'm sure there's something waiting in the wings to ruin this. It's just a question of what it is. Well, we may still have firewood left over by the end of this mission, the way things are going. Of course, having tempted fate, now the game is going to find some way to punish me for that. Of course, on the other hand, I wouldn't entirely mind. I like the challenge, so I kind of want to see what it comes up with. I also always find it a little weird that we can find antiques in the torch braziers. That just seems like a weird place to find them. It's like
A handsome reward.
the other places that you can find
task
antiques,
well
I can
performed.
kind of understand, but okay, now we have to drop some. Let's drop the citrine for the rubies. And it's time for some violence. And it's time for Beast's Bile to earn its paycheck again, because it's really the only way to deal with one of these.
Precision.
Critical 1 damage. Well, end the wide mouth. I said end the wide mouth. That extra critical chance hasn't done us as much good. As much good as I was hoping it would. Okay. Fairfax, I imagine you're angry at the guy who spearfished you, so punish his teammate for that. Or not. Jewel, please just eliminate... Or not. Is this wide mouth secretly a Jedi or something? What's going on? This guy just... Because like, he's activated Ultra Instinct and now nothing can touch him anymore. Okay, just command for it. And may as well just use fetid vapors. This one will die next turn, so you have no reason to do any... Actually, Purge would be helpful right now. I think. Alright, Divine Grace. Yeah, I really like these healing trinkets because they allow the Vestal to do that occasionally. And frankly, I take a lot of damage. Festering Vapors. Sublime. Yeah, honestly, I would call that sublime. I'd also call what's about to happen sublime if it works. And that is... Manacle the one with more hit points. This. And there we go.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Alright, Sapphire. Okay, so if I drop the Jade, I'm gambling that we will find more Sapphires.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Honestly, bit of a risk. I'm dropping the stack of 4 torches. We have 8 more torches. We have Dazzling Light to increase the light level in combat, and we have Firewood, which resets the light level to maximum when we rest. I'm gonna take that risk. Might be the wrong call. In fact, since it's a decision that was made by me, it is probably
Wealth
the wrong
beyond
call.
measure.
But I'm
Awarded
going
to
with
the
it.
brave and the foolhardy alike.
And those of you watching at home know very well which of those two categories I fall into.
Possessed by evil intent.
The landmine going off a second after he says that really drives the point. Oh shit. Okay, this is we're officially in just a bit of trouble. Okay, what I need you two to do, I know this is an uphill battle, but survive. Just survive to the end of the round. And I don't feel like risking it. I'm going all in. We have a trinket that reduces the stress effect of him doing this. And he still is too far back to use slam. Fortifying vapors on yourself. Fortunately, it's only stumbling scratch. Unfortunately, when you're a low-level Vestal, stumbling scratch does a lot. Alright. 10 to 17. I'll go with the higher chance.
A momentary abatement.
Yeah, we're gonna need to fight a little bit more seriously. I've reduced him to only being able to use stumbling scratch for a turn or two at least. I actually have a plan. Let's go with Hugh.
Impressive.
Petals must fall. And yep, he has to use stumbling scratch. We just slammed through him out of position. Alright, Fairfax, just stick with the healing. Light up one of our 7 remaining torches when I get a chance. Wow, you actually managed to scare the abomination. That was quite a hit. Alright, light up a torch. And rake. That's the end of one of them. And Hugh should end the corpse and his friend.
A momentary abatement.
And there we go. That actually basically handles it. Alright. Gonna need purge, otherwise we're good. And... Alright. That's enough. Let's have you transform back. Give a little bit of stress heal to everyone. Ho-ho! And Durari would like to remind you that just because he's not in beast form does not mean that he's not dangerous or that he should be underestimated.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
And let's see if you can finish this, Altard.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
There may very well be a word, a thing that we're looking for. Room battle. Room battle is the term that I'm trying to find. In here. And I'm not worrying about the light level because... Yep, there is. Oh, it's another one of these teams. Well, there's not really anything you can do except chop, which doesn't do a whole lot. However, Beast Bile will serve us extremely well in this situation. Dazzling Light for a combination of stun and torch level. At least we got the stun. At least we got the torch level. And fortunately, this thing's blight resistance is very low. In fact, it's 0 because of the debuff. Fairfax, I need you to resist becoming afflicted. That's all I need you to do. Altard, I need you to avoid bleeding to death.
Weaken.
They're just buffing each other. That's not a threat at all. I mean, there's not really a lot that can be accomplished by just buffing Oracle. That combined with Stress Wave on the wrong targets, I will be deeply embarrassed if I manage to lose to this team. You know, something I kind of wish... I wish that if you hit the enemy with... If you use an area that hits multiple spaces on an enemy that occupies multiple spaces, it would hit them twice. So, like, I think it'd be really neat if, for instance, if I were to use Hue on the Crusher, it would actually hit the Crusher twice, since it hits spaces 1 and 2, and the Crusher is in spaces 1 and 2. It really loves Arterial Pinch. I guess it feels about Arterial Pinch sort of like how I feel about Beast's Bile. And I realize the bleed resistance is a little bit late, but it's better than nothing. Beast's Bile won't be enough to finish the Crusher off, but it's close. Okay, this is not so good, though. Yep. And Fairfax's resolve is tested. Ho-ho! And Stalwart.
Many fall
There is
in the
no
face of
profit
chaos,
without
but
struggle.
not this one. Not today.
And Chop. And there we go. Yeah, Fairfax has decided she wants to defy the stereotype of the antiquarian by actually making a very large difference in the overall success of the mission. Usually the antiquarian is just there to find us extra money.
Unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
But Fairfax has decided that, no, this is an antiquarian who knows her way around a fight.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
It was bad to let this stuff go, but I can't really risk dropping anything in our inventory. However, time to light up some firewood. And we have enough food that we can afford to feast.
A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Right. Start with I don't have Sanctuary. I don't have any abilities that prevent, I don't have any abilities that prevent nighttime ambush. That's unfortunate. Start with Reflection. Let's follow that with Pray. Reduce everyone's stress. And Chant on the Leper because I know that he's religious. And Encourage on the Vestal, since she doesn't have a skill to reduce her own stress. And I may as well use Resupply. And Rest. Let's hope we don't have another midnight surprise.
This closes in, haunting the hearts of men.
Okay. That's a bit of an issue. Please succeed at moving him. Ah, the one time I need the move skill to succeed, it doesn't. Let's just go with Nervous Stab. No surprise that that missed. Ooh. Alright. And Duryea, time to put your game face on. And let's just go with Rage. It'll take another one to finish them off, but he can handle the violence portion of this. You guys just need to avoid dying. And another Rake. And yep, every time he uses Rake, Rake gets a bit stronger. So the three, okay, Duryea can handle the fighting. The other three of you collectively make sure nobody dies. That's your job. Just avoid dying. Okay, I'm slightly less certain that Duryea can handle this himself. Find comfort. Let's go for healing for now. Okay. Rage. Alright. Rage against the dying of the night. Now if that could fail, that'd be real helpful. Yeah, fail. Just like that. Chop.
Decimated.
Just what I needed. And also just what I needed. You guys are holding up your end of this pretty well. And Rage. And that the end of that. And we got quite a bit of loot from
Remind
that.
yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Alright, let's just grab the emeralds. Alright. Revert to our original formation. Oh, wrong hero. And let's see what we get here. Ooh. A jute tapestry. What am I willing to drop for a 4,500 gold tapestry? I'm gonna drop the one emerald. I realize that a full stack of jade is worth less than a full stack of emerald. I'm just gambling that we aren't going to find 4 more emeralds in the rest of this dungeon. And the food, I'm just gonna distribute now. Okay. Well, I said things would find a way to go bad, and they kind of did. Though, Dureri has really been the MVP this mission. Whether it's keeping people stunned, eroding the mid-ranks with Beast's Bile, or when he finally just gets serious and hulks out on the enemy. He's really... Dureri, you the real MVP. And I selected that with the wrong... Though, I don't know, I don't want to underestimate Fairfax's performance here either. She's done a lot.
Mind that
First
such
of all...
missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
First of all, she's the reason why we have all these antiques. But second of all, she's done a lot considering how the antiquarian class usually performs. Like ducking that spear fishing, because if that had hit, that would have caused some real serious problems. By comparison, the Leper and the Vestal have been doing well, but they've been exhibiting the level of performance that I'd expect from their classes on this mission. It's the other two who've really been going above and beyond. Okay, Sea Breeze, and this time on the target I really don't want to see Sea Breeze on. On the other hand, at least he's not using Call of the Deep on it. However, I really should be having her use Fortifying Vapors because that bleed resistance can be really helpful considering arterial pinch. It does almost no damage, but the bleeding that it can inflict is a real problem. And as usual, just go for Chop. Just keep wearing it down. About to have it making... I was expecting to eat my words when I've been talking about how much of a threat arterial pinch is, and it decides to go for tidal slam. Though really, the Uea Crusher has a lot of ways that it can make your life difficult. Let's see, 50% chance for stun. I'm going for it, and wishing I hadn't. Right. Let's go with Festive Vapors. I didn't want to waste a Beast's Bile on the wide mouth that's about to die. And Altard is just continuing to hack away at the Crusher. And now it decides to go for the pinch. And it succeeds, too. Right. May as well heal everyone to full. Altard is about to be in a world of hurt, but... So it's not really a world... Yeah! Mr. Oracle, next time before you cast a buff on your teammates, maybe check to see if there are any, I don't know, ongoing damage over time effects. Because you've increased his damage and his accuracy and his critical rate, and he's going to die before he gets an action. Nice job. And you may as well use a bandage and Solemnity because the only enemy you can reach is going to die on his own.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Yeah. Gotta love those moments when the AI just kind of fucks up. Though, I also have to wonder, when an attack fails to hit the enemy, sometimes it will say dodge, other times it will say miss. What's the difference between those two, I wonder? If there even is a difference.
Annihilated.
And And Altar decided that it was his turn to be awesome.
At least promises success.
It is really looking that way. It's looking like we're ultimately going to succeed. Okay, how many crushers is it now? And now this one, they heard me. They heard what I was saying about using Call of the Deep intelligently, and so here they are using Call of the Deep intelligently. Yes, I am that indecisive, for those of you who are watching the screen. Fortifying Vapors on the gamble that it's probably going to go for Arterial Pinch, and so I want the Bleed and Blight resistance. And it went for Tidal Slam.
Terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Fortunately, he resisted both of the effects. As usual, just go for Chop. 50% chance to stun. Okay, that'll stall out at least one of its turns of being buffed. Stress Wave on the person who's already virtuous. You know, I'm actually just going to take a moment. Thank you, Oracle. That is exactly who I wanted you to use Stress Wave on.
Quakes.
Unless you somehow manage to make the Antiquarian have a heart attack, raising her stress level is essentially meaningless. And considering the fact that she's at... Ha! I merely grow stronger. Considering the fact that she's down to 42, the odds of increasing her stress enough to make her have a heart attack are real slim. Alright, let's see if I can end the Crusher before it gets its next turn. In the meantime, let's just put him back together a little bit. Okay, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. Stun resistance is 120%. This only has 120% base stun chance. So I'll just erase the Oracle. And... okay. Lights for 3, which... so I need... hero damage 1. Yeah, you can't kill it. So it's going to get 1 action while it has that ability active. And what an action it was! Tidal Slam that missed. Well, let's go for Absolution. Also, so when he uses Absolution, this light shines down on the abomination from above, and I'm guessing that's coming from like the god of dubstep or something, given the sound effect. And there we go.
Victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Okay, can't keep the heirlooms. Didn't want them in the first place. No, okay, let me open that. Let me
If
loot
only
things.
treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
1250. Well... this is the... okay, I'm just gonna take a moment to say, this is the best kind of problem to have. I'm actually having trouble deciding which of the things that's worth more than 1,000 gold to keep. I'm actually gonna drop the medicinal herbs for the antique. Since medicinal herbs are something we can live without, though I am taking a bit of a risk by doing that. And now, just leaving behind 1,000 gold, because we have more valuable things in our inventory right now. Can't do anything with the oyster because of the bleeding. Alright, Festering Vapors on this one. Okay, so... gonna have the Antiquarian and the Leper team up to take out the one in the front. The Abomination can do what he usually does to the mid-rank. And the mid-rank apparently knows in advance that he's going to do it and has decided they really want to stop him from doing that. Alright, this should finish the job. Like so. But because there's a corpse there, I can still hit both of these with Beast's Bile, leaving only the one all the way in the back as an actual problem. Alright. We'll stick with healing. Let's see, how do I want to do this? It doesn't really matter, honestly. up with the beast file. Is that gonna... I love it when the enemy doesn't know what to do with movement abilities. Knock us out of position, and then knock us right back into position. Alright, just end that one. At some point he's gonna have to use Purge. Oh. And that point is now. Try to keep everyone healed. And Festering Vapors does more total damage, it just does it over a longer time. And this should do it. Yep.
Success so clearly in view.
Okay, there's at least one hallway,
Or is
one
it merely
room
a
battle
trick
left.
of the light?
Let's light up the rest of the firewood.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
I'm gonna use Reflection. I'm also going to use Pray. And let's encourage the Vestal. Let's use Chant on the Antiquarian. And the Antiquarian can still use Resupply and get us food again. Alright. And yep.
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
I'm tempted to transform again, but I'm not even convinced that would help with this team, with this enemy team. I really need, because the thing is, I really need Beast's File to deal with the high protection values. Alright, well, I can at least raise the torch level. That will increase our accuracy. Really glad I didn't throw out the bandages.
Diminished.
You would use Stress Wave. And for you, there's kind of only one thing you can do, and at least you're doing it well. Stick with Dazzling Light. If we can stun this guy, that's helpful. And once you're in position, it doesn't take a lot from Beast's Bile to take out the maggot. It does get one last grind, though. Festering Vapors. Once the Oracle is all that's left, it won't be a problem.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Hitting the maggot is irrelevant. Hitting the crusher is important. A critical would be really, really nice right now. And so, of course, I don't get one. Tidal Slam, but he resisted it pretty well.
Fiend.
As I said, a critical would have been real, real nice. Vapors on this one. Let's just go with healing.
A momentary
So if only one
awakening.
person is damaged, so I really should have used the other healing ability. Go for Beast's Bile. Okay. It's the end of the Crusher, so go ahead and heal yourself.
Their cursed champion falls.
And the Oracle, all by his lonesome, is about to have a really bad time. Especially since he's blighted for all of his remaining hit points. You all know what that means. Find comfort because critical healing can reduce stress. So that literally did nothing. Absolution is to reduce the last bit of the stress. Pray to the god of dubstep. And there we go. Alright, and I'm gonna need to go through here because there could be a room battle. I'm not bothering with that because we don't have any more. Ooh, bandits! Haven't seen you guys in a while. Hugh cannot one-shot you. Chop can, but probably won't. However, with little help from Nervous Stab, of course that doesn't change the threat of blanket fire. I didn't think Shank could reach that far.
Strike.
Well, Beast's Bile can. Grace. I'm just gonna have to ignore the bleeding, like I do with most of my problems. Keep it up with the Nervous Stab. And you're just gonna keep it up with the Blanket Fire. That's what I would do in your situation, so I suppose I can't blame you. Oh, right, Blanket Fire reduces evasion. So the more times it hits, the less likely it is that you'll dodge it in the future. Critical healing on exactly the one that needed it. Just keep up the psychological warfare. 6 to 12 damage to the corpse. Yep. So Hugh can get rid of the corpse and damage that guy. And that gets rid of that guy. So now the last Fusilier is pretty much the only problem we have. Well, let's make him an unproblem. I wasn't expecting rushed shot to be that successful. Well, take your anger out on the other guy. And there we go. Alright. I realize this is gonna sound stupid, but I wasn't expecting this mission to be this long. The long mission is long? Inconceivable! Not even gonna bother with that. There's one more room battle, but there are only 3 rooms. So there's at least one more room battle, that is. There's only 3 rooms.
Cruel machinations spring to life with a singular purpose.
Okay, that one was just nothing. Fortunately, we don't have to inspect and catalog the nothing this time. And these are just gonna have to stay where they are. I can't guarantee that we won't have hunger. Okay. How many crushers is it at this point? We don't usually get this many in a single mission. Festering vapors. Yeah, I actually need to do that. Well, would have been better if it had actually hit, or rather if it had actually blighted. Do all the stunning that we can. Still need... The maggot still gets one more turn to live. Brine, which did nothing. Not really sure why I went with fortifying vapors there. I don't suppose it matters too much. Because I could have just done this.
A momentary abatement.
And just keep it up with the bile. Just with the crushers, with the crushers 50% protection, blight is really all we've got. It ain't much, but it's all we've got. What is the bleed chance on arterial pinch? Is it just 100%? Except, characters have bleeding resistance too, so I have never seen it fail to inflict bleeding. I have literally never seen arterial pinch fail to inflict bleeding. And that is the reason why I didn't treat the Vestal's bleeding when she was bleeding from Shank. Because, frankly, I needed to save my bandages for this. Again, it has yet to fail. And that's the last bandage, which means if there is another Crusher, we're in some trouble.
The blood pumps. The limbs obey.
Yeah. Now we just need to wait for that thing to keel over, and there we go. Oh. Yeah, I'm dropping the minor antique. I know they stack higher, but I'm gambling that we won't encounter more of them. Probably exactly the wrong game. We will actually have been to every room in this dungeon. Festering vapors on the wire. Chop on the thrall. Ooh. I actually wasn't expecting the critical. Of course, I never expect criticals, because criticals are good, and good things don't happen to this expedition. Okay, yeah, they do sometimes, but... And... go with absolution.
Is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Because I can't hit this guy. A plan. Festering vapors. Alright, blighted. Let his stun wear off. Judgment on the one with more hit points. That did a lot. I always underestimate how powerful Judgment is. And that's it. They're both blighted for enough. So, once again, we're going to finish this mission with people who are immediately ready for another mission. Fortifying Vapors, because there's a chance of a critical heal, which reduces stress. And I miscounted. Oops. Well, it didn't wind up mattering, so let's just let the medic fail to finish it off. Well, I'm definitely having Dureri use Absolution. And... Fairfax gets to do the honors. Okay, I definitely made the wrong call keeping the emerald. I really should have kept the antique. Okay, not interacting with that. And there's definitely a room battle in here. No Crusher this time, though. That's good. I was expecting there to be another one of those. I was expecting just Crushers without end. Bile. Chop. Finish the job. Nervous Stab should do it. Yep. And Nervous Stab will leave a corpse, which means I can still hit both of these with Beast's Bile. Yep, even the enemy's corpses are actually working for me. The shamans have decided the shamans, who are the two support classes, have decided to completely ignore their teammates and devote all of their resources to healing and buffing each other. This time I actually want to use Purge now that their stealth is worn off. Going. There's no getting off the Blight train. Judgment. That misses. Okay. And we get another round of stress healing. Okay.
A momentary
Healing. We
abatement.
cannot. But we have Absolution and Solemnity while we wait for them to just die. Just kind of chilling and relaxing while we wait for the enemy to keel over because of how poisoned they are. That's one. And that's the other one. Okay, let's return to the hamlet.
The pungent odor abates. The things are driven back for a time.
This is gonna keep going for a while. We found a lot. $42,000 gold worth of loot. And 2 new champions emerge. Paranormania. Also, Manslayer is actually pretty good. Though I don't know how common human enemies will be going forward. Why did everyone except Druel get 16 resolve experience? What caused that?
The town is alive with wild merriment.
All
and
treatment
desperate
facilities are
jubilation.
free. Is that just stress treatment? Because we don't need stress treatment. No, that's everything is free. Wow. And we also got a crazy amount of gold. Okay, nothing impressive from the Nomad Wagon today. Anyway, I've decided this is actually not going to be the end for this part because I want to do, for this episode, I want to do at least one mission in the darkest dungeon itself, and we haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. I am going to get us a fresh recording file, but I will be back to do one final mission for this episode, and just let this episode be a little longer than usual. So, I will be back in a moment.
All the decadent horrors I have seen pale in comparison to that final, crowning thing. I could not look, nor could I look away.
Alright, I am back, and I need to put together a team for the next mission, and I think I have an idea of who I want to use. However, I also definitely want to get the best use that I can out of the free treatments. So, let's see. Sort of all. Okay, sort of all's unyielding is getting locked in. Didn't realize she had that. And let's see, which is worse, satanophobia or phengophobia? I'll get rid of satanophobia on the grounds that it's more expensive. Lord. Let me see something. I think I want to bring a Hellion for the next mission, so... Which one of them... So, of Vastal and Rord, which one of them should, Which one of them should get treated? I think Vastal should get treated and Rord should go on the mission on the grounds that Rord has lower stress currently. So... I'm gonna lock in second win. Let's Let's see. Torn between thin-blooded and night blindness. I don't usually let the torch level get low. On the other hand, yeah, I'm gonna go with night blindness. She can use adrenaline rush to cure blight, but anything that causes a Hellion to deal less damage is unacceptable. Yeah. Let's see. Nothing terribly significant for that. Few show. Paranormania or Hylomania. Those... What else would be worth training? Let's see. Reducing the damage of an occultist isn't really much of a problem. Okay, Aubert's Unyielding is getting locked in. Pretty much anytime I have the chance to lock in something like Unyielding or Hard-Skinned, I go for it. And since it's free, I may as well remove... I'm going to go with Clumsy because dodge is kind of important. Alright. That's all that money spent. Or not. Let's see what else we have. The Fasting Seal. That's rather interesting. So, just does not consume food, does not experience stress due to a lack of food, and it's interesting, but the issue is you only have 2 trinket slots, and so 90% of the time you can find a better use for one of the 2 trinket slots. So while I wouldn't say no to that as a quest reward, I don't think I'm willing to buy it. Now, the first thing is my team is going to be Roared, so she needs her stuff maxed out. Sortival, who is maxed out. Yep, he's already died once, and I keep throwing him into danger. Riviere, who is maxed out in the important stuff. And Breteuil, I mean. The one survivor of the last one, because there just is no escape for him. And since we have a lot of money, I am just going to max out all of his abilities. Now, let's look at equipment. Damnation's Gift. I really like the names for the ultimate weapons. And Inhuman Bondage instead of Hellforged Chains. Sortival, how's your equipment? Yours is maxed out. Bludgeon and the Bulwark. Riviere is also maxed out. And that just leaves Roared. If I can manage to reach the thing correctly, get her the Wolf's Tooth and the Wolf's Pelt. So, the team I'm actually sending is now proper. Actually, let's look at camping skills, just to make really sure we're ready for this. Riviere's training was kind of a rush job, but she has all the important abilities. The only thing Sortival doesn't have is Pep Talk, and he can live without it. Eldritch Blood could actually be useful. Especially since the first version of the Darkest Dungeon has a lot of stress. Alright, so that's the main team fully prepared in every aspect. So let's let's start training up other people. Step 1, confirm that everyone who is Resolve level 6 or higher does in fact have their equipment maxed out. Well, let's not restrict ourselves to just people Resolve level 6. Anyone who's champion level who doesn't have maxed out equipment really should. And I'm focusing on champions because they need good equipment more than everyone else does. And, alright, that's all the gold I can afford to spend. In fact, if anything, I've probably spent too much gold already, considering we might fail this mission. And just click on this and watch everybody panic. Oh, it was only the one person who panicked. Alright. Riviere all the way in the back. Sortival in position 2. Bertuil in position 3. And Roard in position 1. As usual, unequip all trinkets and sort them. I don't think that Roard will end up equipping any of the Hellion-specific equipment. Instead, she's getting the Ancestor's Pen. No one needs the portrait. And the other thing she gets is the Martyr's Seal, mainly for the death blow and maximum HP. Though the ability to turn a fight around while she's at death's door could be helpful. For you, what man-at-arms equipment do I have? The Rampart Shield, I definitely want that. And other than that, it's only recurring stuff. Well, the Flesh's Heart seems like a pretty good choice for you. I have an interesting question. So, Beast's Bile and Manacles are both considered ranged. The Hag's Ladle could be good considering the fact that I use Beast's Bile so often, but on the other hand, the issue, it rarely fit. You know? Wait, what is... I have Abomination-specific equipment. In fact, I'm gonna go with the Restraining Padlock, and I have Defender available to me, so I'm gonna go with the Padlock of Transference. Mainly for the increased stun chance. Because the thing is, when dealing with dangerous enemies, we're gonna need a lot of stunning. Similarly, I'm gonna go with the Tome of Holy Healing, and I'm actually going to go with... I no longer have the Ancestor's Scroll, so I will still go with the Sacred Scroll. Because I still need the... I still need the extra healing it can provide. I was thinking of using the Ancestor's Scroll instead, so that I don't have to deal with the reduction in stun skill chance. For you, drop Pep Talk for Eldritch Blood. So, let's drop Wound Care for Tactics for you. Sharpened Spear, Battle Trance, Pep Talk, Encourage. Yeah, Pep Talk is actually the best we've got. Unfortunately, the Hellion's camping skills aren't the best. Sharpened Spear is pretty good, though. Alright. Oh, make sure you have the right abilities. You have Wicked Hack, Iron Swan, If It Bleeds, and Adrenaline Rush. Yeah, part of the reason for bringing the Hellion with Adrenaline Rush is... And we get... Oh, those are Holy Orders. For a second, I thought the game was going to give me another Sacred Scroll. And, yeah, let's embark. Right. Apparently, trinket... or, curio interactions, for the most part, aren't a thing in the Darkest Dungeon, so I'm just going to bring plenty of food. Every bandage that they are willing to sell to me. And some torches. And I think we're good, and that leaves us with enough gold to provision a regular mission if this fails. Also, I believe my indicators are telling me the game is actually... The recording software is actually recording the game audio this time, so you get to hear the narration. Which is good, because the narration for this area is awesome.
The stars are right. And the manor sits at the very epicenter of cosmic unrest. Cultists rally to their twisted idols, and great gongs sound in anticipation of the coming sacrifices. Far below, life-laden shadows pulse to the unrelenting rhythm of a beating heart.
Wow, you're making it sound like this whole adventure into cosmic horror might actually be a little scary. Possibly even dangerous.
The blood of the fallen flows ever downward along these titan spires. The creature fattens itself on your failures.
Alright. And these guys, and we have the rapturous cultists who are so devoted to healing that they violate conservation of matter in order to heal their teammates. Alright, one of them stunned already. See? Oh, let's stun the other one. Keeping them as stunned as possible is a good idea.
Continually onslaught.
Really, I should have known that would happen.
Destroy them all.
Stun resistance is 98%. Rampart has a 140% chance to stun. Oh, right, it throws us out of position. Oh, I'm just gonna keep hitting the stunning abilities until it works. I forgot, Rampart and a Hellion don't mix very well. Well, step one, I'm gonna return us to our default
Success
formation.
so clearly in view. Or is
Second
it
of all,
merely a trick of the light?
you know, the debuff, Breakthrough is only level 3, but the debuff from Breakthrough isn't that bad. I'm actually going to switch out Adrenaline Rush for Breakthrough so that if I have to use Rampart, I can then have her Breakthrough to get back into position once. As usual, we open up with manacles. And he's giving us the finger. Ooh, that's quite a finger. If this keeps up, I might have finger phobia. Only 73% stun resistance. And yet that happens when I try to stun him. Well, this is why we have Rampart in addition to our other stunning abilities. And with no other reason to do anything, let's get rid of that little bit of stress. And might as well just heal sort of all back up to full. Roard, would you care to do the honors? Apparently not. And yeah, the debuff only lasts for 2 rounds, so it isn't really that
surges
bad.
as the enemy crumbles.
It means giving up if it bleeds, but enemies in
Be wary.
I'm not terribly
Triumphant
confident
pride
about the usefulness of
precipitates a
bleeding in
dizzy
this area.
fall.
Especially considering the fact that stunning is less likely to be helpful right now. So if I can get rid of the Rapturous Cultist, that should be helpful. Okay, fortunately the Rapturous guys are very stupid. Wicked Hack. Need to do just a little bit more damage to this guy and we can be rid of him. And yeah, 3 damage and he's gone. And bleed on the hero most equipped to handle that. Go for crush
As
and
the
finish him
fiend
off.
falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Now is a good time for stunning, which also has the advantage of getting us some light, because torches are going to be a bit of a limited resource on this mission, more so than usual. Keep up the psychological warfare. Probably, oh, Flesh Wall. That is the single most intelligent thing he could possibly have done in that situation. Like, I feel the need to give this guy a little bit of credit. That was smart. If I can stun him, I can undo it. You can't staunch the flow? Come on, Roard, you can totally staunch the flow. Because apparently one of the things that encourages blood clotting is rage. He's only blighted for 5. However, I may be able to stun him. Or just do that!
Is broken. Maintain the offensive.
And a little bit of healing.
A death by
The buff will
inches.
probably wear off before the next group of enemies.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
I'm fairly certain that these 2 forks in the road both lead to the same place. So I'm going to take this one. Okay, light up my torch. And, to no one's great surprise, we got more cultists. Okay, how do I want to do this? I need to think this one through carefully, because the issue is, I could use Beast's Bile and wear the enemy down slowly, but these enemies have the ability to rack up a lot of damage, and particularly a lot of stress, fast. The brawlers are more manageable, especially since we have a lot of bandages, but the stress the witches can cause would be a serious problem, especially since Sword of All is coming into this with a decent amount of stress already. So let's see if we can manacle them. Oh, there was an attempt. And Iron Swan can't one-shot unless it gets a critical, but it could get a critical. And Fate's Reveal on exactly the person I need them not to use Fate's Reveal on. And that's the reason why I wanted to, Oi. Yeah, they're really good at this. They always target the person with the most stress, specifically to make them become afflicted. I'm actually going to go with Dazzling Light on the one inch reach. I can heal the Man-at-Arms later to replenish the hit points that he's lost, but I want to make sure that he doesn't become afflicted. And yep, I feel pretty vindicated in my decision to concentrate my attention on the, I feel pretty vindicated in my decision to concentrate the attention on the witches and let the gladiators or the brawlers sort themselves out.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Cross on the one that's already poisoned, not that it will matter. And yep, her stun wears off, and now she doesn't have enough hit points to survive the blight next turn. So unless someone else heals her, which they can't, then she's just done. Manacle the one that isn't blighted, see if we can get him stunned. That leaves just this brawler as the only survivor. Unfortunately, his aim is apparently real bad. Now we just concentrate our fire on the guy who's blighted in the hopes of getting him to be deaded. Never underestimate the Hellions' ability to hit things. 122%. Yep, 122%. The chance of stun succeeding is actually not zero. And the only thing you can hit him with is manacles anyway, so just keep wailing on him. Now he has plus 100. He's 172% stun resistance. We're not stunning him again. Fortunately, we don't need to. Be gone, foul thing. I'm a little bit surprised that the cultists don't qualify as unholy.
Victories mount, so too will resistance.
So I suppose unholy seems to be reserved specifically for undead. And I'm fairly certain if we took the lower path, it would still ultimately take us here. Because I've been told the maps do not the maps in the Darkest Dungeon are not random. And this is why we brought food. I hope we don't have to deal with too many more witches, because Fate's Reveal is a serious problem. Yep, loops back around. So let's just keep going this way. This is a medium rank mission, so the map should be the same size as the maps for other medium rank missions. And, you know, there are times when I feel like the game is mocking me, and this is one of them. I said I hope that we don't get any more witches, and well, they didn't give us witches. Instead, they gave us this. I have a plan, though. Strike through on this one. Oh, right, it hits all of them.
Bubbling.
I will feast on your heart. Oh.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left
Apparently it decided to take that as a suggestion. Alright, now hit the one who doesn't have elevated stun resistance. Yeah, there's a reason I brought a team where 3 out of 4 have some kind of stunning ability. Now we go for Beast's Bile because the stun resistance is too high. Only an 8% chance of stun will work. Because you need to survive one Death Lash, which is pretty survivable. Though I am seriously concerned about Sword of All's mental state right now. Rightly so, apparently. And he's paranoid. Wonderful.
The walls close in. The shadows whisper of conspiracy.
Just go with Divine Comfort. And I can't heal the Man-at-Arms. Lovely. Let's go with this one. Yep, okay. 12 to 22. But he will get another action before he dies if you don't kill him. You kill the one that you need to kill. And that just leaves the last priest as the only problem. Stun resistance is too high, but the issue is there's not really anything else you can do because you can't reach him with Beast's Bile. So resist the stun all you want, the damage is what matters to you.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
He's making rude gestures at the vessel. Oh, finish him off.
Masterfully executed.
I'm really liking the decision of bringing a Hellion to this mission.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Yeah, I am really happy with the decision to bring a Hellion on this mission. Though, I'm gonna go down this time. That does not change the fact that things just got a lot harder and more dangerous after the Man-at-Arms became afflicted. So be spiled because it will comfortably hit the two dangerous enemies. And you can't hit position 3. Okay, you have... What is the chance of you one-shotting him? Low, but he's enough of a threat that I'm okay with you two-shotting. And unlike some of the other enemies that can guard, the Flagellant does not receive a boost to his durability when he does so. And the most pointless flesh-to-flesh ever. Yeah, the good thing about the Rapturous Cultists, not Flagellants, they're Rapturous. But the good thing about the Rapturous Cultists is that their AI is very stupid. You should be able to finish off that one. Yep. This is medicine? I'll admit I'm a little skeptical too of how that works, but it does apparently work. Alright, and the Rapturous Cultists have decided they really want to make sure that the priest survives. Unfortunately, they can't stop me from doing this. Well, fortunately for me. One more should do the job for the priest, and there's nothing they can do to prevent me from doing that. Which means you can just focus on hacking this guy to death. Yeah. The extra firepower that comes from having a Hellion is making a big difference. The wounds of war
can be healed, but never hidden.
Hit the Rapturous guy. I just need one more Beast's Bile and we're good. One Beast's Bile and then one Wicked Hack for the Brawler. Let's see if I can get that. I had to say it. I said it, and now it's not true anymore. Well, this will at least deal with the Rapturous guy. And the guy's blighted for 10 now. Right. Honestly, we should have used Defender or something. Okay. Put an end to that guy. That leaves... The priest is the only one who's actually a threat anymore.
Sedated.
Give me cover.
A devastating blow.
That was entirely unhelpful. Fortunately, we don't need you. Bretwheel is going to take care of this. And just go for the off chance of a critical healing, because he will die next turn.
Slow death.
Okay.
Unforgiving.
Even with the Affliction, we're holding up okay, but the Affliction carries the ever-present risk of just stepping in and ruining everything. I'm wondering if I should... Actually, I don't know. I'm wondering if I should aim to bring, like, a Jester in here or something, because... Or aim to bring somebody with actual stress reduction skills, because... things are rather dangerous these days. I'm gonna try this route. Because stress can cause real serious problems. Oh, okay. We're in some trouble. This is exactly the kind of team composition I am not equipped to handle. And that's just rubbing it in at this point. And unfortunately, I can't even risk using transform because it could stress Sortival out and make him have a heart attack. And he's already died twice. I don't want him to die again.
In a single strike.
Fuck. Fuck. Iron Swan. Haha, finally good news. Right. That only Defender only grants increased protection, which won't do you any good with regards to death blow resistance. There's nothing you can do to heal yourself.
The ground quakes.
Ah, the old double critical. And you're stunned. Now I just need the Vestal to get a turn.
More dust. More ashes. More disappointment.
Well, the good news is I no longer need to be concerned about Sortival's mental state. And that's more significant than you might think. Because, well, now that I have less of a need to manage stress levels, though I still have a pretty significant need to manage stress levels, you know what?
There can be no hope in this hell.
Probably a bad idea.
No hope at all.
Screw it. You're going down, motherfucker. I don't care what it does to morale, you are going down. We're avenging Sortival right now.
Exposed to a killing blow.
We could hack this one to death. Right. You heal the Abomination, because at least he's our Abomination. Yep, let me just bandage you up. And rage. Keep healing him.
Compassion is a rarity.
You know, Vestal plus Abomination is a surprisingly effective team. And we got Sortival's equipment.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay, in the next room we're resting. Because we seem to be at least past the halfway point. So light up the firewood.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
Step 1. Sanctuary. Pray will actually reduce the Hellion stress a little bit. Yeah, I didn't think that would work, but it was worth trying. Well, why don't you encourage the Vestal then? Okay, Sortival's dead again, but
As the light gains
we haven't
purchase,
lost yet.
spirits are lifted,
Alright.
and purpose is made clear.
And like I said, the Abomination is capable of a lot. He also isn't any weaker in position 2 than he was in position 1. And position 3. Alright, the Malignant Growth, I learned from experience last time, the Malignant Growth is the real problem.
Ringing ears, blurred vision. The end approaches.
I feel that's bad. In fact, you would use Flesh Wall against that. Okay. Start by destroying the abomination. In fact, let me see something. So Wicked Hack does 11 to 21. Iron Swan does 11 to 21. They have the same damage, but Iron Swan has slightly higher accuracy and critical chance for some reason. That may just be down to the cultist's lower dodge, but that's a start. Which means that's no longer guarded. And I'm gonna gamble on two things. We're either at or very near the end of the mission, and the malignant growth is more of a threat than anything else we're likely to encounter. I'm going to risk transforming again. Rake does 7 to 13, Rage does 14 to 25. We need the 14 to 25. The malignant growth does too much damage. It needs to go. Unfortunately, Rord is probably about to have a heart attack. And also...
How quickly the tide turns.
Right. Divine Grace. And this is a situation where I'm not even using Adrenaline Rush because... Okay, Rord, that's actually helpful. That, on the other hand, is not. Alright. Rage. 14 to 25. Decent chance of killing him. How the hell is this thing dodging? It can't even fucking move.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Right. And this could kill her in two different ways. And
more blood soaks the soil, feeding the evil therein.
Right. Dazzling Light on the one that has a turn left. Okay, that's at least temporarily solved the problem. I need Rage to hit. Okay, now it's just the two more normal enemies. And now his resolve is tested. Haha! Powerful!
Anger is power. Unleash it.
I knew Britchwheel was good. Alright, unfortunately all she can do is Divine Comfort because she's been forced into position 2. So... Rage is his most damaging ability, but without a critical one-shot. It will two-shot, however. And Fate's Reveal isn't really a problem anymore when she uses it on him. The problem is the finger, which I might be able to prevent. Perfect. Rake will deal 8 to 14, whereas Rage will deal 15 to 24. Guaranteed kill if it hits, and it hits. Alright. Fate's Reveal on the Vestal could potentially be a problem. Alright. Light up a torch or several. Just keep going for healing. Just keep the Abomination... Okay, the Abomination doesn't even need his stress managed anymore. So, Riviere, you have one job. Keep the Abomination alive. That's all you have to do. He can finish this fight. And end it. I try to get dramatic and then that happens. Just keep healing. Ooh, critical. Really the only way for that to do decent single target healing is with a critical. Well, 69% is not that unlikely for it to miss twice. Until he's fully healed, just go for healing.
Can be healed, but never hidden.
Rage is the only one that's certain to kill if it hits. There we go.
Ghoulish horrors.
Okay.
Brought low and driven into the mud.
This is a bad idea. This is absolutely a bad idea. This is a mistake, and I'm going to suffer for it. I'm going after the shuffling horror. Alright, transform. Alright. Go with break. Come on. Jet Flash, of course. Alright, Fate's Reveal. We're actually starting to get to the point where his stress levels are getting dangerous. Alright. In fact, barring some pretty impressive luck, we're actually going to have to retreat anyway. Because I'm realizing I can't risk him going in with this high of a stress level. Because even if he doesn't have a heart attack now, he just... What? Never mind! I don't need to manage his stress at all. It's impossible for him to have a heart attack because he came out powerful. It just resets his stress to 0 when he would have a heart attack. I'm continuing. It's a bad... I know it's stupid. I know I'm probably going to lose these two, but I just can't stop myself. Alright, we got a selfish Vestal.
Self-preservation is paramount, at any cost.
Fate's pushing in Death Lash. That's a nasty combo. Alright. Oh, you can move back to get everyone back into position. I was hoping the Abomination would get to go first so that he could use Slam, but that works too. That leaves just the Ascended Witch as the only problem. Yeah, the stress isn't even an issue. She can only stress her one companion, and her one companion is basically immune to stress. There's he suffers no negative effects from stress. Dazzling Light to raise the torch level. And as usual, Raid. Again with the missing. Yeah, the Ascended Witches have pretty high evasion. Fortunately, this actually still needs to hit twice no matter what. The light alone commands me. None else have the right. Well, that was at least moderately helpful, though I would have preferred for you to use Judgment. And you're just going to try to make the Vestal have a heart attack, because you know that you're going to die, and so you're just going to try to take the Vestal down with you. How many times do I have to use Rage with 69% to hit before it goes? Batman! Alright. One more hit and she's gone. Unfortunately, she's managed to do a lot of damage in the process. Rake has higher accuracy but won't kill, which means there's no difference between...
This expedition at least promises success.
This is a bad idea. This is going to end badly. This is a mistake, and I'm doing it anyway. Get your game face on. And you can only target it with Rage, so you may as well accumulate the damage bonuses from Rage. Ah, the finger. And the bleeding, too. The undulations at least don't do very much. They do exactly enough.
The match is
by
strong.
Throwing her out of position.
A blazing star is born.
Lacerate does a lot more. Alright. Bandage. And just keep accumulating the rake damage buff. It's one of those times where I really wish that we did have what I was talking about before, where
this sprawling tomb.
Attacks do extra, attacks get to hit multiple times if you're targeting an area where, so it alternates between undulating and lacerating. keep increasing the rate damage
Impressive.
buff, but at this point there is no skill. The correct strategy is obvious. Keep using rake until one of us dies, but it's really more or a matter of luck whether or not that's him or me, with the odds favoring
Reeling.
him.
About to break. Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
Alright. Use the last bandage, and... Okay, we officially are definitely not going to win this one.
No chance for egress. Will this
Unfortunately...
be a massacre?
Okay, that did 0, so we survived it. Let's see how your death blow resistance...
Another life wasted.
That's how your death blow resistance holds up.
Go.
And there's an achievement for it! There's an
Regroup.
achievement for that kind of
Reassemble.
failure.
Evil is timeless, after all.
Apparently, if you're me,
Curiosity,
failure is also
interest,
timeless.
and obsession. Mile markers on my road to damnation.
Okay. Well, I wanted to fit another attempt at the darkest dungeon into this map and into this episode, and I did. It just really did not go the way that I wanted it to. The good news is, I've seen everything that instance of the darkest dungeon can throw at me. So I have an idea of what I'm up against. Now it's just a matter of preparing myself for it. And that process will begin next week. So in the meantime, thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time.